It's time for the Daily Show with Ryan and Jay. I hope you're having a great Friday. The Daily Show. Let's start that Daily Show. You know you're glad to be here on Friday. I'm not alone here. I don't know why he just...
I figured you decided you're gonna fucking sing. You decided to make the entire intro about you. I figured that should be the first thing people saw.
I said your name. I put Ryan in there.
I know. But yes, it is the Daily Show on Friday. I'm sorry that we're late. Jay could not stop talking about airbirds. I don't even know what the fuck that's all about. But he couldn't stop talking about airbirds and socks and shoes and stuff like that. But we're here. What's up, Jay? How are you doing? You sound like you're happy this morning.
It's Friday, man. It's a good day. It's a good day. Friday's a good day. This is my favorite daily. Number one, I don't get to hear about Titanfall 2. I don't get to hear about Tim Tebow. I don't get to hear about whatever. That's constantly on repeat with the other guy.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. You know what? The other guy actually made a video.
I know. He sent it to me.
To be honest, to say he made a video is it's kind of a misnomer. It's not really. He probably sat there and talked for about 2 minutes, and somebody else made a video, like somehow took that and made it into a cohesive something to actually put out and be proud of. So really we are actually going to debut that after this stream. After this Geeks and Gamers Daily, we're going to put out another Jeremy video. So that should be interesting. What's on your coffee cup there?
Man, it's something my mom gave me. It's just Tigger. It's just a massive cup. So I'm
yeah.
It's the biggest cup like
what do you got in there? Just milk?
No, I got coffee. I got coffee.
Just like a massive mug of milk.
Yeah.
Like fucking Santa Claus.
Yeah, exactly. This is the biggest cup, like, you know, I was like, she got it for me like years ago. I was like, that's cool. It's a freaking fat cup. So you make a half a pot of coffee, you keep it with you throughout the day. So it's all good.
Doesn't it get like cold?
It does. That's all right. Like some people like the cold brew, man. It starts off warm, just let it sit. Then it turns into the nice cold brew. Good to go, man. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
I have this thing that keeps all my shit really fucking cold right now.
Oh, really?
Bro, I am a sucker for like anything that I see on Instagram. I'm just like scrolling through like Instagram ads fucking have me in a loop, dude. They've got me. And this is one of those things I saw on Instagram where it fits like hold on.
Instagram ads get me all the time. It's awful.
So like this is like a fucking Starburst energy drink or some bullshit. Can barely get it out because you're not supposed to take it out because it's so fucking heavy. But like it fits big ass fucking things like that. It's got another insert sleeve where you can just do a just like a regular, like a can of Mountain Dew, like a 12-ounce can. You can do like bottle of beer. It like fits in there, and then this thing goes on top and just like secures it perfectly. So yeah.
Instagram, man, those Instagram ads, pretty wild.
Really hit or miss on that shit.
Yeah.
I'm at about a 75% success rate. I would say that a lot of the stuff I get sent, it's awesome. And then every once in a while, you'll buy like a shirt. It'll just be like the biggest piece of dog shit you've ever seen. So you can't get your money back because some fucking Chinese man stole it from me.
The worst thing that ever happened. Behind me, I don't know if you could probably not see it. Nope. There's a Iron Man helmet like right there, like from Infinity Wars. And my brother saw an Instagram ad that they were having a massive sale on those helmets. And he had the video and everything, and it was just like too good to be true
or whatever.
Yeah, so he bought 2 of them, and he was like, "Oh, bro, I got you this great gift. I got you this awesome gift, man. Like, it'll be here in 2 months. No problem." 2 months go by, 3 months, and I finally was like, "You mentioned a while ago, man, you got me a gift." And he goes, "Oh, man, I was hoping you forgot about it," because he got it in the mail, and it was just like a rubber mask. He got hosed so bad, bro. We laughed about that for months, man. Like, it's just like a freaking. He's like, "Well, when the package came and it was like, you know,
didn't want to say anything,
not in a box." He was like, something was up. So That was
Yeah.
hilarious.
You know,
But
I actually I got part of my costume got delivered yesterday. So I'm excited. I'm
for
gonna debut it
FNT,
on I think FNT, the FNT before. So probably like 2 weeks from now, I guess.
yeah.
Friday Night Tights on the 27th. I guess that's when we're doing Halloween. I don't fucking know. But I'm gonna be ready. It's gonna be an interesting costume. Maybe I'll be going as race swapped Robin Hood. I heard not a lot of people have seen it, so it'd be a surprising one. I don't know if it'd be very popular, but yes, we got to talk about Robin Hood because Jay somehow made Canadian national news by just sitting there, not saying anything. Somehow, Jeremy is a lazy fucking ass who hasn't made a goddamn video on the thing. Jeremy gets the national news segment.
But that's like my face.
Canada.
It looks like I'm saying.
You're just sitting there, you're like,
I know. Well, in that TikTok that showed on the
you talk a
national
little bit
news
in it.
or whatever, you're in it at the beginning, and
I'm in a lot of his TikTok.
yeah. Then I'm in it at the very end. So I was like, well, there you go.
That's right. Well, I actually got invited to go on that segment. I got an email invitation from City News Toronto, whoever that was. And like it was like at noon. It was like, hey, I'd really love your input. So this is a balanced news piece. By the way, I have a deadline needs to be done by the end of the day. So if you could just get me a statement, it's like, fuck. Can you give us a statement about your videos? It's like, I have multiple videos up that go in detail about how I feel about it. I don't feel like you need a statement from me. Unless the plan is to take something out of context. So,
I mean, they could just go on the channel and pull whatever they
yeah,
want.
if only I had a documented place with thousands of videos where
Yeah.
I like explicitly lay out my thoughts minutes at a time.
Yeah.
Man, you'd think you could find that
In a public setting.
yeah, you'd think you'd be able to find that. I don't know. I don't think I need to give City News Toronto a statement, but now that it's out there, we got to talk about it. That'll be our first topic. Let's hit a couple of these super chats that have come in, and then we're going to get to Robin Hood.
X.
Jay's saggy orangutan titties for 5. Started Fall of the House of Usher last night. Had a high host, but ended up being woke, vulgar, and degenerate. Mike Flanagan has fallen far.
Oof.
House of Usher. What is that? Fall of the House of Usher. I feel like it's an Edgar Allan Poe something, but I don't know. Is that on Netflix? Maybe. I don't know. I guess I'll have to check it out. Hadn't heard anything about it. Hadn't heard anything about that. All right, where the fuck did we go? Green-haired anti-liberal in the chat says, where did it go? Happy birthday, Ryan. Thanks for being our Uber and Docs. Well, not anymore. It is true. October 13th is the birthday of the Navy, like 1775 or whatever. So you're welcome, I guess. Not actually my birthday. But thank you, green-haired anti-liberal. The Buzz CJC for 5. This is for Jay's Downs. Together we can find a cure.
Yeah, I wore the I put on Rippa sent me one of the Rippaverse hoodies. I put it on and just posted a picture on Twitter. And yeah, I was like roasted to all hell and back from people that don't like him. Just people like, wow, this dude's got special needs. Like, why did Rippa give it to special needs? Like, where's his helmet? It was actually pretty funny. The picture looked terrible too. Like it does. I guess like I was looking at it. I was like, yeah, I guess people could say I'm on. You got a
weird, like in some angles, your head looks weird.
Yeah, it's some like every angle my head looks unless I hold it perfectly straight.
That's not true. Like, but there is a certain angle where you're like, okay, that kind of does have the generic shape of like some people that may or may not have Down syndrome.
Yeah, I gotta lose some weight maybe in the cheeks. Yeah, maybe that'll help.
Get that Tom Brady surgery. Viking Beach Bum for $5. Thank you. Project Taco for 2. How much to summon Pharaoh Rai Rai? I don't know where my Pharaoh hat's. It might be in my trunk of my car, actually. I don't know where it's at, so I can't give you a number and promise it. I can promise to try to find it. Mike Hill for 31 months. Dylan Mulvaney won Cringe Woman of the Year.
Did.
Women are
Congrats.
such trash that all it takes is one man and they'll rule the world of women if they convert, apparently. Where else did that go? Tobias Nexus for $5. As if out of context, Ryan is different from normal Ryan. Also, how do you wokeify a post story? I asked Netflix, I guess. Effing the Bob. Ooh, he needs some milk.
Yeah.
And then effing the Bob for 2. I need to lose some weight in my cheeks.
J 2023. Yeah. It might help my head shape. I don't know. Might make it worse.
It could make it worse. You never know. You never know what might happen.
Yeah, that's true.
But Jay, we need to talk. Right? We need to talk about Director X.
He's reached out to me in DMs.
Well, he's desperate for attention. Because quite frankly, when your show's only getting 130,000 people tuning in, which is good for 69th that night in Canada, by the way. That's what the show's ratings are at. The second episode lost about half of its audience from the first episode. It's sitting there at about 130,000 people that tuned into global TV on October 4th, which was the second episode of Robyn Hood. That would be one thing. But when the people that are tuning in also despise it, well, that does not spell well for your future, at least the future of Robyn in the Hood. And as we saw, it did set a record-breaking show, Robyn Hood, the worst IMDb rating we've seen in history.
Wow.
This is pathetically bad. This is disastrous. This is something I've never seen before, and I didn't even think it was actually possible. But here we are, a 1.0 out of 10 for Robyn Hood. And like I said, thanks to Az to get the ratings, 69th in the country for that night. 139,000 people tuning in to watch Robyn Hood on global TV. Pathetic failure. And for some reason, in modern day entertainment industry, people can't just accept that maybe they made something bad. That fucking happens, right? Things don't go well.
Yeah.
You thought you had a vision. People got it. Like, whatever. Sometimes bad shit gets made. But for some reason, no one can admit that anymore. It always has to be, well, there's some excuse. Has to be this. Has to be that. The fans said this. YouTubers said that. That's why people don't like my show and it's a failure. And of course, we've seen Director X a couple times blame racism. Well, now, since he hasn't got the attention from the YouTubers that he's been begging for because they're all getting more interaction than he is on his show, he's decided to run to the mainstream media, to City News. I think City News Toronto specifically for this story. Director X, Toronto director, calls out comments on his new take on the Robyn Hood story. Should we listen, Jay? You make an appearance on Canadian national television.
I'm honored.
I think I actually have to share my fucking audio, unfortunately, though. So we will do that. It still doesn't let you do it when you're sharing a window. But here we go. So just translate.
Why am I not seeing it on the screen?
What the fuck? Oh, dude, so you just said, you just didn't say anything while it was not there? You just let me sit there?
I thought you were figuring stuff out.
Oh. Okay.
I didn't want to be that guy to say something and then you're playing it like on some special app I didn't know about.
I was silent for like 30 seconds. And you decided to just let me sit there and be silent and not say, hey, not try to like fill the dead air.
Not do anything. I didn't know what was going on. I got severely confused. Sorry.
Try this again. So in the future, Jay, if you see me staring off to nothingness for even 5 seconds,
all right,
and not saying anything, maybe try to fill the dead
I'll
air.
speak up. I'll speak up.
All right.
Up some controversy.
Can you hear this before we go another 30 seconds?
I hear it.
All right. Perfect.
Up some controversy. Directed by Canadian filmmaker Director X, Robin Hood tells the story of legendary heroic outlaw Robin Hood with a modern day twist.
This time they live at the corner of Sherwood and Forest. It's the sheriff of New Nottingham and John Prince. And, you know, they live in a public housing, and John Prince wants to buy it and tear it down, and they don't want to leave.
Director.
Just to be clear, this time a modern audience means we're going to race swap, we're going to gender swap, we're going to make Robin Hood bisexual. Every single protagonist is going to be a person of color, and the villains are white. That's what
I haven't even seen the teaser trailer for the show.
I mean, it's again, it's on global TV. All you need to do is, VPN to say you're from Canada, and you can watch it. But oof, here we go.
X says the new tale of the English folklore has been receiving some negative feedback online.
The moment they heard Robin Hood was going to be a woman and black and bisexual, they immediately hated it. From the moment we announced production, lately there's been a lot of anger over gender swapping, race swapping, and, like The Little Mermaid.
I think this is actually an interesting point that he makes.
I'm angry.
We can get to.
Like, all this stuff is big. Why are you changing stuff, right? And I never felt that way with Robin Hood. I didn't feel like I was taking like a recent character, right? Robin Hood has been interpreted a million different ways. So, all right, what about this? What if we did a modern Robin Hood and spell it with a Y? Oh, that's cute. All right, let's do that. But in their mind, this could only be more woke agenda.
Now, I actually do think that that's an interesting discussion point, right? I agree that an adaptation of Robin Hood is not like race swapping Little Mermaid. It's not like a race swapping Luke Skywalker. It's not like that, right? We have seen 100 different interpretations of Robin Hood. Now, most of them have been kind of along a similar vein. But it's one thing to say, hey, we're doing this adaptation of Robin Hood. When you make every single thing the most stereotypical thing you possibly could about like black culture, and then the villains happen to be white, it's about more than just an adaptation. I think that's obvious for the people that have watched it, at least through the first couple episodes. Don't you think?
Absolutely.
Because again, it would be one thing. I totally agree with that. And I get why there's a lot more. Why there would be a lot less hesitation to do an adaptation of Robin Hood than say something like a very established character that we've only seen one certain way.
Yeah, and
with all being said, it doesn't excuse all this shit.
Right. There has been female Robin Hood adaptations before in comic books and things like that. So, but this was just clearly, I mean, to pin this as a modern day adaptation, it's like you're really painting a picture that of stereotypical things. So
the first scene in the first episode, they film themselves committing crimes. I guess that's how they trespass and they film themselves.
Wow.
And that's the first. That's what a modern audience wants, apparently. But anyway, we'll keep going.
More woke agenda.
The director claims the series is being rating bombed and has taken to social media to address these
Jay?
videos and call out some of these content creators.
Literally everybody hates this trash fire of a show, and the reason why is because of
my Down syndrome face.
It all comes back to identity politics.
So it's Jeremy talking. Who
Meta PC, shout out.
Shout out Meta PCs. You're getting a lot of traction because of this hat on Jay's face as he just listens to Jeremy. Jeremy hasn't fucking watched the show, hasn't even made a goddamn video about it. This probably got clipped on a Geeks and Gamers clips or something. Jeremy's the one who gets on City News Toronto to talk about identity politics. Just want to make sure that's clear.
Since they perceive this to be identity politics, they've done this to the IMDb rating. There is a 1.1 out of 10. 2.3 thousand people have voted. 2,000 of them have given it a 1.
My comments are filled with people saying all kinds of really bad racist things, right? There's racism involved. But that makes them say, oh, you're calling us all racist. No, but there's racism involved. We can have an adult conversation about what's going on.
So what's next?
I thought that was interesting. He says all through my comments is a bunch of racist shit. I went through there and there's one or two things that are probably, probably not right. Probably like you wouldn't want to fucking say that. It's a little bit embarrassing. But also within 5 minutes of scrolling through one of his videos, man, I found a lot of people who were talking about white people. This is weird. Yeah, so I need to watch this show to see what's up because all I see is white peopling. Saying something is only about race, but everybody commenting about race. Crazy. Your dumb bitch ass literally is commenting about race.
What is white peopling?
Exactly. I want him to define it. I'm sure it's a very positive thing, right? White peopling.
We drink coffee in the morning.
In big Tigger cup.
Big Tigger.
Hey, that's Tigger with no hard R. Tigger. Oh, just make sure. Well, there you go. They have to go looking for in a nutshell. God, it's always white folk. Like you, Julie, my kids are mixed. They see and hear this crap all the time, and it's always their white friends. Can't even spell out white, just YT, right? You can probably use that abbreviation a lot. Are these blowhards American? What about this one? Fragile white men with a platform dispute, pseudo-intellectual BS, disguise their hatred for the fact they don't control the narratives anymore. That's all, folks. Fuck them, X. What about this one? This is the definition of honkies. So the guy who's claiming fucking racism, right? This guy is saying there's a lot of racist shit in my comments. I scroll for 5 minutes through one video, and you find derogatory terms for white people. You find people of color bitching about white people. It's always white people. It's always white people. I don't think that all of your fucking followers are racist. I don't blame any dislike I might get on a video on your followers being racist, some of this bullshit. Just how it is on the internet. You're going to find that. You're going to find some of that on one side. You're going to find some on the other side. But that's all it takes is 5 minutes scroll through your comment section. You're the one who's claiming fucking racism is the reason that this is happening. Yet in your own comment section, you got people that are saying derogatory shit about white people. Oh, and by the way, the one place I can find evidence of people encouraging people to review bomb a show, also in your comments section. I urge people to not only support in the comments here, but go to IMDb and rate the show highly to counter this racist shit. I just did it, and it only took me 2 seconds. That's the only evidence we have of people advocating review bombing. People supporting the show in his comments.
I don't remember.
Weird how that works, isn't it, Jay?
Yeah, I don't remember seeing anybody like who reviewed or talked about it saying, please go to IMDb and give it poor ratings. Basically, people that have watched the show have laughed at it because of how terrible it is. But the issue is, and he's wondering why we call this stuff out, is because anytime somebody puts out a horrific show and nobody likes it, the directors or creators or whoever cries like racism. This is way back when with Seth Rogen, when he made Santa Inc. Right? That show stupid. It sucked. Nobody liked it. And his response was, we really pissed off tens of thousands of white supremacists with our new show, Santa Inc., which is now available on HBO Max. Please read the response to this tweet for confirmation. So it's like, I mean, it's just a constant trend with people in Hollywood. And this is just one example of many. I mean, we could pull up the Reva comment, with Star Wars, with the Obi-Wan show. I mean, we could just keep going. That's the issue. So maybe he needs to understand stuff like that. Seth Rogen is not a person of color. But he made pretty much the exact same statement. So.
And what he desperately wants, he's had to go to mainstream media to beg to get on YouTubers' platforms, right? Because he wants to have a conversation, take one thing that one person says in a chat and say, look, I told you, this is the racist shit that's happening. It's really fucking sad and pathetic. Like, there's a reason he wants on YouTubers' channels. It's because we're getting more views on our videos than he's getting on his entire fucking series. 139,000 viewers. That is miserably bad. I get more than that each and every day on my YouTube channel. And we do know a lot of people have actually reached out. Smaller content creators have reached out to him and asked for this and asked for that. And he seems to ghost them. He wants on the big platform specifically. That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, a friend of mine, Mark with a C, did a video on the show and how horrifically horrible it was. Mark with a C is not a white person. And I said, hey, if you want to speak to somebody, why don't you speak to Mark? And so maybe Mark is open to it. Maybe we can get that. Maybe we can put that together. I don't know.
Here's the thing for me. I knew about this beforehand. He and Az had been talking. They'd been talking in DMs, had been doing this thing. They were trying to get him to come on. And have an actual conversation about this. That was in the works. It was basically set up and ready to go. And then he made the first video saying that, well, it's just racist that are review bombing this because of what these people said on YouTube. So the moment you know it's disingenuous as fuck. There's no actual attempt there, right? It's just a guy who's looking to blame someone else for the failure of his show. And that's what we continue to see in modern day entertainment industry. And to the point where you're running to the mainstream media to beg to talk to YouTubers. That's the power dynamics at play here. Keep in mind, there's also a guy who's 300,000 followers on Instagram.
Pretty wild. He only has like 100 on TikTok.
Are you glad you got your mug on Canadian television?
Maybe not that angle, but you know, I guess I could be honored and take what I can get at this point. So, but it's wild, man. It's pretty wild. Like you said, usually if you make a bad show and like you could just say, well, we did the best we could, what we had. I thought it was cool. And for those that like it, I appreciate it. Everybody else can move on. Like we move on to the next thing. But he's really taking it personal. That's
man, personal. I don't know where all these racists were when Black Panther came out, but man, they really missed an opportunity to review bomb that, didn't they?
Yeah, that you know, $1 billion film. Could have had a field day with that one.
Yeah, I know, right? It's so weird. It's so weird how that works.
Had a field day with that one.
All right, let's catch back up with some of this super chats here. We appreciate you guys hanging out on Friday, Geeks and Gamers Daily. All right, Disco Cobra for 20. Now this is all just BS. The show just straight up sucks. Every single time they go back to either race or phobic problem. No, the show's objectively just bad. The hard left can't take the L they always blame. I watched the first episode of the show. I had no interest in watching the second after that. It really is very bad, cringe, poorly written, and clearly in my mind with a very specific racial bias to push. And it was just embarrassingly bad. It was like a bad CW show. That's kind of what it felt like. Now, I'm sure this isn't some fucking $200 million budget show. I'm sure that's not the case. Global TV in Canada. But I know that the premise and the writing, the comedy, the entire idea is just cringe and stupid, to be honest. The fact that Robyn Hood, you race swap, gender swap, made her bisexual. She's part of an anti-authoritarian hip-hop band that lives in government housing, and the mean, evil white guy wants to buy that public housing. That's fuck on, man.
I think what's really interesting is that I believe this director directed music videos and was met with a lot of praise for that. And this is probably the first time that he probably was on a little bit of a pedestal and someone, and now he put something out that people don't like. And he's like, what? Like, how is that possible? Don't you know who I am?
I don't know too much about his history, right? I do know that he's done music videos. He worked with like Drake and Rihanna and like people like this, and you know, well received, and that's fantastic. I don't know. I'm sure he's done another TV show or a movie or something before this. I'd have to imagine, but I don't really know.
Yeah, I don't either.
All I can go is based off this. This isn't good. That's it.
Right.
And that's the way most people feel. Are there people that don't like what he said or whatever that might go and give it a 1 just because they think it's funny? Yeah, probably a couple.
Yeah.
I also know there's people that are just giving it a positive score just because they want to counteract what he's saying is review bombing, not because they actually believe that.
Well, he's
so
also...
You can have that on both sides.
He also went out and said people use your VPN to watch the show.
Yeah.
So maybe he's getting, like, you know, people from... Maybe there's people from other countries that don't understand what you're trying to do and they don't like it either. So they just gave it a bad review because it was you who went on social media to say VPN time, baby. VPN time.
And that's what I mean. It just seems very the whole thing just seems really disingenuous. That's why people don't want to have a conversation with someone who's not genuine. Carnage Undone for 10. Did you see that Logan isn't fighting Dylan Dennis, so he has Jake fighting him? Logan is a puss that can't fight for his girl.
I just wonder if all that's done
what?
for hype reasons or something. So apparently, yeah, Logan got on the scale and he didn't make weight, so Dylan's like the fight is canceled. And I
don't think that's. I mean, as of yesterday,
this all happened early this morning. It was really weird. Like the Keemstar was talking about it, and they're like, "No, the fight needs to be on," and Dylan's like, "Nope, the fight's off." And then Dylan makes a joke post like, "I'm just gonna fight his brother instead."
Yeah, it's just all drama bullshit. Obviously, Dylan did fucking hit him with a microphone at their press conference and everything. It's kind of crazy, but everything will happen fine. It's trying to get more headlines generated. That's what I think. Batmobile for 10. While this Malcolm X cat is a clown, isn't a perfect opportunity to have a final conversation with someone from the other side. Why not do it anyway? It's not like it can make y'all look bad. Again, for a lot of people that don't maybe even understand what's going on, or maybe don't understand what the game is, you realize that that's exactly what he wants. The reason this person is desperately begging for attention, even though they know they'll fucking get blasted, even though they know all these things, is so they can have more of an excuse to sit there and paint the picture, to paint the audience, to paint whatever, because they see one person in chat that says Talcum X, because they see one person in chat that says whatever. And if you don't understand that, you don't understand like the entire scope of everything. That's desperately what he's trying to get, is that it is a trap. 1000%. Magnum Norse for 20. Ring ding dong. Jay smells like bing bing bong.
I don't know about that.
I don't know what that means, but
bing bing bong, like am I smoking weed?
Bing bing bong. Deeds, Minnesota for 10. Here's for the laugh while we all sat in silence. We can thank Jay for that.
I thought I was, yeah. All right. I'll take the L on that one. I literally had no idea what was going on. I thought maybe this was like some kind of like OBS thing that was happening. So I just was letting Ryan do his thing. I screwed up. Continue. He's still quiet over there.
I was testing you. I was testing to see what you would do this time.
I'm
I
talking.
would stay silent before you needed to say something.
I got you.
There you go. Sparty Cubs fan for 2. Here's some shekels to fix the audio and video. Happy birthday year, Ryan. May be filled with anime.
Hey.
We'll work on it. Disco Cobra for 10. Y'all hear Best Buy's thinking about taking away all physical media sometime in 2024. Not sure how credible it is. I'm okay with digital, but it's still like the option for physical media. That's insane, dude. The idea that Best Buy, which is one of the only places I can think of to go for physical media now. Yeah. It's crazy to me.
Yeah. Unless you buy it on Amazon or eBay or something to get it over to your house. But yeah, that's I never thought I'd see that day.
I know.
Where it's like, we're just going to give you a little card to buy and you scan it and it'll go to your downloads. I guess it'll save, I don't know. What will it save?
I don't know. Booming Bob, member for 7 months. Can't believe Canada's being generous to special ed people.
Yeah.
MC Tasman, member for 4 months. Jay, my Tigga.
Hey, what's up?
Stephen Wasik, member for 5 months. The only good Canadians are Mario Lemieux, Wayne Gretzky, Sidney Crosby, and The Weeknd. Changed my mind. I'd have to think of some other Canadians. I can't.
Bret Hart.
Chris Benoit. Seeker of the Moon, member for 6 months. It's a shame Toronto News didn't use a picture of the Canadian bear.
Yeah, what's up with that? Actually, I'm glad. Yeah, probably would have looked better than what I look like now.
Jesus Davila gifts a membership. Thank you, Jesus. Dom H with 5 Geeks and Gamers memberships. Wartooth for 2. Mr. H debating Director X on Monday.
Yeah, I think so.
There you go.
There you go.
That. Jay's saggy orangutan titties for $1.99. Justin Trudeau going as Director X for Halloween. Sir Hat for $2. Business as usual.
That's messed up. Woo.
Andrew CR. Ryan making his dad Gary proud. I'm blaming that all on Jay.
Yeah, well, I'll take that one.
Harry Brownhole for $2. Director F, race version of guy who made Bros. Thank you.
Yeah, that might be true.
Axel Jessen for $5. This is what happens when Mr. Krabs leaves and puts SpongeBob and Patrick in charge.
That's Ryan's the most organized. Like, to do a show with Ryan is very, very easy. He is organized. He has the stuff ready. He is ready to go. You've got to be ready for Ryan. That's the thing. You got to be ready. I'm surprised Ryan actually agreed to do a show with me on Friday. I appreciate it. He makes me look smarter, except for today, where I messed up.
That's true. I typically things go pretty smooth. So StreamYard recently updated its system where it used to be you just hit share screen and it pops up. Now it's done something where you hit share screen and then you have to hit another button again, which is what I was doing when Jay let me just sit there in silence for 30 seconds. Was I hit share with the assumption it would pop up. And when I share the screen, I put Jay over on this side of me so I can look directly at the camera when I'm looking at art.
Oh, I see.
So
I didn't see any of that.
I know.
Yeah.
And so that's what happened during that time. So I blame a combination of StreamYard and Jay.
Yeah.
The combo that brought me down. Project Taco for $5. Chinaman is at an eye doctor, and the doctors say you've got cataracts.
To be fair,
cataract. I drive a Rinkin Continental. Thank you.
That's pretty good. To be fair, if you interrupt Ryan while he's working, he will cuss you out. So I was trying to avoid that, to be honest with you.
You wouldn't be interrupting me because I wasn't saying anything.
Because I thought you were like doing computer stuff. Like I thought you were like trying to figure it out. That's all. And like the last thing Ryan wants is like when he's like figuring stuff out and getting everything working right, is for some goof to walk up to him. Hey man, what you need help? Like you want me to? You don't do that to Ryan. You let him be, gets his stuff done. He gets it done quickly, efficiently. When you interrupt him, that's not a good day.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Jester of Roanoke, member for 4 months. Buy physical media at places like thrift stores, garage sales, or Craigslist. People making the mistake of dumping their physical media all the time. It's true. Magnum Norse for 10. It's okay, Jay. I'm just trying to mess with y'all. Thank you, okay. Magnum. We need to talk about. Excuse me. We need to talk about the Marvels, Jay.
Oof.
I have been waiting patiently for yesterday. I knew October 12th was the day. I follow Box Office Pro, which is it basically, they come out with long range projections and they continue to track them all the way up till the release. So I use them a lot. I knew that yesterday was going to be the day that we finally got the first actual estimates for the Marvels, and it did not disappoint at all. Let me make sure I hit share and then add before I start talking to myself.
It's sharing just great.
Thank you, Jay. But we've known for a while that the Marvels was going to have a problem being a profitable movie. Despite that bullshit rumor that came out that it was one of the least expensive movies in history, that was completely not true. And if anyone looked into it at all, you could tell that's not the case. It's actually one of the most expensive movies in MCU history. Just through September of last year, before another round of reshoots, before post-production and visual effects, before all this shit, the Marvels cost $270 million. This, in all likelihood, is going to be a movie that costs Marvel at least $300, potentially $350 million before you even get into marketing. And what is a movie like this going to do? The sequel to Captain Marvel, except you add in a bunch more characters that nobody cares about? Well, we finally have the answer. The long-range box office projections are here, and they are fucking abysmal. Opening weekend range, $50 to $75 million. To put that in perspective and see how it's tracking compared to some other things recently, the Marvels' long-range tracking earned $50 to $75 million in its domestic box office opening weekend. The pre-sales trends are currently 69% behind the pace of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which only opened at $118 million, by the way, and 42% behind the Eternals. Like, the Eternals made about $70 million, and its pre-sales are 42% behind that of Eternals. This could be one of the biggest disasters we've ever seen in Marvel Cinematic Universe history. Not just a bad box office result, but combine that with the fact that it's one of the most expensive movies they've ever made. This thing is going to be a nightmare. Think about The Flash, opened at $55 million. Ended up making around $270 million worldwide total. That might be what we're talking about when it's all said and done for the Marvels. How do you feel about this, Jay?
So, according to MCU Direct Twitter's account, and I don't know how accurate this is, Ryan can shed some light. It says the MCU's lowest ever opening belongs to the Incredible Hulk at 55 million. So, if the Marvels comes in under 55 million, it will be the lowest ever opening for Marvel, for a Marvel movie. That is insanity.
It's true. Look right here.
People have walked away. Like, they have walked. Nobody cares. They have walked away.
This is sorted by opening weekend. This is every MCU movie we've ever seen. Incredible Hulk, 55 million.
Is. Yeah, so it is the lowest according to this. There's so many things that are actually helping this film to do better. There's like no competition, correct? There's really not a lot of stuff out in the theaters to go see. So if people do want to go to the movies, the Marvels would be something that maybe they would just randomly pick. But still, to tank that low when there's like literally no excuse now. What excuse could they possibly use? That they didn't have the actors to help promote the film because of the strike? Or
I think that's going to help them. I think not having these people, these women out there speaking about the movie is actually going to help them in the long run. Or hurt them less, we should say.
That's what I'm saying. So there's like, they have everything going for them that would help this movie do better, but it looks like it could be one of the worst ever. People have just walked away. They have walked away. I mean, the Loki episode 2. Did you know Loki episode 2 came out? Nobody's talking about it.
I have to watch it before FNT. Yes.
Nobody is. The only person I see talking about it is Gary. Like, that is it. And he just posts clips. I see nothing of it trending. I see nothing of Loki season 2 anywhere out there compared to season 1 when it was the most viewed, right? Season 1 was the most viewed on Disney Plus.
Yep, the biggest series they've ever had. Yeah.
And so now it's like people are just like, well, I want to go see something else, or I just don't care anymore. Like, this it's over. Man, this is what do you think? What are we looking at here, Ryan? Are we going for the lowest, man? Are we gonna win that crown to be the biggest bomb in Marvel Studios history?
I think that it's going to lose more money than any movie they've ever had. I do think that, but
big one.
That doesn't mean that it's going to be like the lowest total, right?
Okay.
Like, this production budget, legitimately, it's $300 million minimum. Minimum. Could be more. Because again, through September of last year, September of 2022, they'd already spent $270 million on this thing. And they're going to get a tax break that'll bring it down to, 240, something like that. But with still all post-production, another round of reshoots, all of this stuff that still had to be spent on a movie that didn't come out for another year plus. So I think $300 million is a conservative estimate. At least another $100 million on marketing. Keep in mind, they spent about $150 million on stuff like Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor: Love and Thunder when it came to marketing. So minimum 300, minimum 100 million. You're talking about $400 million wrapped up in this thing. It's probably more like 450, which means it needs to, at a bare minimum, crack 800 million to break even. And I thought that this was probably going to do in the realm of Ant-Man. It'd probably end up making like $400 million. This thing might be lucky if it hits $300 million worldwide at this point.
Wow.
It's going to be a nightmare for them. And man, oh man, I've been waiting for this day for a long time. 50 to 75 million.
Are we going to go see it together, brother?
I don't know.
So I can do an out of the theater review
With my face in it.
November 10th. That's the only way I get views nowadays. So you know, I got to do what I can. Frank Gore in the chat says, "Hey, we've been talking about it on Film Thread. Apologies. I should have been more clear on social media, Twitter trending. That's what I should have said." So,
but you're right.
Chris.
Overall, like the interest is just shockingly low for all this shit. You're not wrong about that.
Well, even you went over the Ahsoka ratings. It's like they went from, you know, the bar graph is going in the wrong direction. It's like you would think more people would, if Ahsoka was that big of a hit, you know, more people would have watched that finale. But unfortunately, it went the wrong way.
800,000 households. So it not only a drop of 30%, but you compare that to like even the Mando season 3 was like a 1.4 million households. Almost half.
Yeah, right here it says Obi-Wan Kenobi finale 1.8 million. Book of Boba Fett did better than Ahsoka.
1.6 or something, right?
Yeah, 1.5. Mando season 3 1.4. Mando season 2 1.1. Ahsoka didn't even crack 1 million
in 6 days.
God dang.
Like the interest level is just not there. The Nielsen ratings have been backing up that, like everything that's come out, the Nielsen ratings have kind of backed that up as well. And it's a sad state of affairs. There's a lot of people out there that'll tell you it's good. I don't care. Well, nobody watched it. So even if you think it's good, a lot of people don't agree. But even if you think it's good, nobody fucking watched it. That's a problem.
It's
like it's one thing when Andor doesn't get an audience to tune in. I think a lot of people understood that. They understand why. This is something they ran a massive marketing campaign. They put all the characters in the theme parks. They had fan events. They did a theatrical fucking mid-season special release for this thing.
Yes.
And there's no interest at all. They've severely misjudged the interest that people would have in Dave Filoni's universe.
They're gauging this somehow on like Twitter bots or something, man. Somebody's telling them like this is great, and it's
a whole paired analytics thing. It's just social media interaction. Ahsoka has higher social media interaction than almost every other show they've ever seen, but no one's watching. Because it's 23-year-old autistic people with pronouns in their bios and fucking trans flags and furry profile pictures and shit. That's the audience. Like that speaks about it on social media. That's the audience. But you know who the biggest audience that tuned into Ahsoka is? Older millennials.
Right. Wow. That's telling. Did you see this? That Bob Iger is overwhelmed and exhausted during company slump. I guess so, because your Disney Plus series aren't doing well. Lucasfilm, I guess they thought Ahsoka would save the Star Wars. It didn't do so well. And now like Star Wars is releasing some comic books about Life Day that they have young. I don't know if you saw that with young Anakin and Shmi like celebrating Life Day, slaves on Tatooine, you know, all happy and, you know, right. I'm not wrong. Like that's what they were. So like they're celebrating that.
One of the things I have to just say about Shmi and Anakin, like being slaves, they had a nice fucking house, bro. Like when you look at how big that house is, that's pretty good. Like I don't know if they got given the slave building for like a 10-person family, but they've got a lot of room in there. They were living all right. Watto took care of them. That's all I'm gonna say about it.
Yeah, he did. Well, the other thing that's like, I'm not sure if you were aware, but we talked about it on the other shows, is that the theme park business for Disney wasn't that great over the summer when Bob Iger blamed like the heat in Florida is what kept people away. And so in trying to bring back more revenue from the theme parks, they decided yesterday that they were going to increase everything across the board. Ticket prices, food, beverage, everything across the board. It's not just like a small price hike on their tickets. They're going all out. Like in like everything's going up, and not just by a small amount either, which is like wild to me when like you've already had low attendance at your theme parks. And then on top of it, they lost their special district in Florida because they decided to get involved into politics. And then Florida voted to give a special district to Universal Studios to build a special train station to where people could be dropped off right at their parks. This like basically the same thing, and we didn't think that was a lot of people were shocked that that happened for Universal because of Florida taking it away from Disney. So they're like, well, then now everything's like an even playing field with like as far as theme park businesses go. And the fact that they just said, well, we're just gonna give one to Universal now. So and Disney doesn't have one. It's just there's a lot of L's over there. I mean, a lot. And they just keep piling up. Now with this, they're not making money on their movies. They're not making money on Disney Plus and no one's watching. Their theme parks are in shambles. So what do they think that they should do? Let's jack up all the prices. Maybe that will help. They lose their special district here in Florida, which they had forever, before I was even born, which is old. And now Universal gets one.
To put that shit in perspective, the whole special district thing, Disney has been able to do business in a very, very easy way. They don't have to they don't have to go through the same like bullshit permit stuff or taking things to votes from city council.
It's like their own country.
They haven't had to do that for decades here because and it made sense, right? With what Disney wanted to do here originally, the state's like, it would take so much government assistance. It would take forever to do what you want to do. So they made this deal where they kind of transferred all this power over to Disney to be able to do it. So they didn't have to go out through all the red tape and they could pay to do a bunch of it. So it made a lot of sense. But now Disney, for the past several decades now, they've been able to get away with doing things and it's made it a lot easier for them, less red tape, able to do things very, very quickly without having to go through the red tape that Universal or any of its competitors have. Now it's on the same playing field as all those other corporations. And that is not fun for them. But it's back where it probably should be. Phil, TMNT, member for 6 months. This is for MCU fan to see if G&G can get Queen Nova to be the new Miss Marvel. I have to help Mr. Nova out and to help the Ryan Boomer Fund. Thank you, Phil. Luke Stone, member for 2 months. Ryan, please know the streams are noticeably smoother and more on topic when you're in charge.
Look at that.
Long-time lurker. Hey, I appreciate it, Luke. Thank you. Project Taco gifts a membership. Citizen 7 gifts 5 Geeks and Gamers memberships.
Thank you.
Thank you, Citizen 7. Stephen Wasick for 20. Here's a supercharge for good old MCU fan. The Marvels will lose money, and Jonathan Majors is going to get up close and personal with Big Tyrone in jail, just like MCU fan and Krista. There you go. Thank you, Stephen Wasick. Ronan for 5. Ryan can show Director X how it's done by channeling Errol Flynn and wearing a green leotard. I'll look into it. Mike Hill for 10. Do expect Aquaman 2 will be more or less than the Marvels. I think that Aquaman 2 is going to be around like 300 million.
I think it'll do worse.
I don't fucking know. I have no idea what to expect for this bullshit at this point.
Nah, it's like, it's I think Aquaman will do worse just because I just think it will be. I think there's just so much mess going around. And then like with the recent stuff that was just dropped about Jason Momoa allegedly, showing up drunk on set, dressed as Johnny Depp, wanting Amber Heard fired. And these were just the notes released from Amber Heard's therapist. So I don't know, man. It just seems like there's just a lot of mess going around.
It's true. It's a massive dumpster fire. Magnum Norse for 10. These whammon are going to show y'all what's up with the whammon. Y'all don't know about these whammon. Thank you, Magnum Norse.
I don't know.
Yo Pops for $10. Footsteps. Approaches podium. Taps microphone. Slight feedback. Clears throat. Slight pause. MCU fan. That is all. Footsteps. Steps off stage. Thank you. Captain J6, member for 5 months. Hail, everyone. Just got a new girlfriend, so I won't be around as often, but I will still support you guys as much as I can. Well, congratulations on your girlfriend, Captain J6. Magnum Norse for 5. Jay's the feature, and Jay is the orangutan watching the feature.
Thank you.
Disco Cobra for 5. I got to give Ryan props for his skill in being on point with his videos. I can never go into video mode when I'm live streaming. Love that stuff.
Yeah, I can't either. I tried it a few times. No one does it better than RK Outpost. I screw it up every time. It's pretty impressive how you do that.
I'm blessed with the ability to remember a lot of shit, right? So
yeah.
When it comes to the Marvel stuff, when it comes to the director extra, like I just remember a lot of the stuff that I've already talked about. So it's easy to just fucking roll into it. But also it helps when you wake up and pull up a couple tabs and prepare for stuff too.
Preparation is key.
Preparation H.
Sometimes it's needed.
Sir Hat for 2. My 10-bit hard drive is physical media. There you go. Pilgrim Media for 2. Ryan, marry Bree, then give her a baby. Peace.
Ooh.
Hey, I got my eyes on, I got my eyes on other people. Me and Bree aren't going to work. So. As is Wonky Eyebrow for 2. Sewer Chat, shout out for MCU fan. Hail 199. Hey. Spider Claw for 5. Wait, MCU fan doesn't like being mentioned in super chats? Sucks to be him. Also sucks to be a Miles fan, like the Ryan replacement Beardo.
There you go.
Axel Jessen for 199. To be fair, Jay SpongeBob is the secret ingredient.
Maybe.
Project Taco for 5. Can y'all see how much I have contributed? I'm curious. Also, what does it take to become a mod? Like, can I see how much you've super chatted? Like in course of history? I wish.
Yeah, I don't think there's a gauge for that.
I wish, but I don't. There's no way to do that. There is on things like Streamlabs. Like Streamlabs, you can see, I think, donations like that. But I don't think on YouTube they've got a way to do that, unfortunately. And mods have nothing to do with like donating. Mods more have to do with. We don't really have too many mods considering how many people we hear, but mods more just, hey, you show up, you remember the community, and we trust you to make good decisions in the chat. It's really all it's about. All right, where the fuck did I go? Tobias Nexus for 5. What will win out? The ladies wanting to see shirtless Momoa or the hatred of Amber Heard? Well, if it's a $300 million movie, it's a fucking failure regardless.
Yeah.
Blue Shell, member for 8 months. Jay, just want to let you know, I bought extra books from you to donate to those who haven't got it yet. Keep up the great work.
It's fantastic. A lot of those are being shipped out as we speak. So they're getting box of books, boys and girls clubs. Some of the schools that reached out, they're getting a box or two. It's pretty cool. So thank you so much.
Well, with all that being said, we just hit noon.
Look at that.
Basically perfect. This stream, listen, we had a couple rough moments. We started off a little late because Jay was talking about his shoes.
Yeah.
And then we had the moment where I didn't share the screen. But other than that, things went pretty smoothly.
I think so. We didn't even talk about AOC ripping a big fart, while she was talking about the conflict going on. I think that was the best news story of the day.
It's tough to know if it was her or not.
I know.
I don't know who
Doesn't
else
matter.
Was on
It's still
Zoom
funny.
Call. It is weird. It's very loud.
It's great.
Krista Joe, hi. I've been watching Disney cruise vlogs lately, and apparently any new release movies in theaters are also released the same day on their cruise ships.
That is true.
That'd be pretty cool. If they weren't just releasing dog shit, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, awesome. You pay enough money to go on those things, so at least they could do is give you up-to-date films.
Yeah. But Jay, what do you got going on, man?
Same thing. Gonna make videos, put some stuff together. Also, if you haven't yet, Geeks and Gamers is on Spotify and Apple Podcast. So go over there and give it a follow. The dailies, the Tuesday night main events, and a couple other things are being uploaded to that. And it's a great way to listen if you're like if you can't pull up YouTube. So we might have a few more announcements about some of the other stuff coming to Spotify. So we're just putting all that together. It's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome.
And also, we do on this channel, I don't know exactly when, maybe about like 12:30, something like that. So about 30 minutes. Right after the stream is over, make sure your notifications are on for this channel. We're going to release a video that Jeremy made about Director X and the Robin Hood situation.
Welcome back to video making, sort of.
Sort of.
Jeremy.
Yes. So make sure to tune in. We're going to see that. I know you guys have been fucking begging Jeremy to make videos. Well, here is a video from Jeremy. We're going to launch it here a little bit after the stream is over. So make sure your notifications are on for Geeks and Gamers. We got Friday Night Tights a little bit later, so that'll be fun, like
Oh,
it
yeah.
always is. D's Webos for 199. Go Astros. Fuck the Rangers. Hey,
Ooh.
all Texas ALC championship or ALCS should be cool.
Pretty wild.
Desirius with a gift membership. Thank you. JB, member for 6 months. Ryan, you played Star Wars Rebellion on PC. Good strategy game. Yeah, so I love some of the old strategy games for Star Wars. God, let me see if I can find the one I'm thinking about. Star Wars Rebellion was an older one. Empire at War. I really loved Empire at War. Galactic Battlegrounds was also one of my favorites. I love Galactic Battlegrounds. What else? Yeah. Those are some of my favorite like kind of strategy or war games for Star Wars back in the day. Empire at War. That's right. Empire at War. That's the one that's great. And we're all caught up. All right, guys. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. We'll talk to all of you guys later. Peace.
Bye, everyone.